Welcome to AAAmen.com audio files. My name is Auntie Jill, and this is Chapter 28 of Living Sober entitled Reading the AA Message. Human beings, we are told, learn many things best by seeing and touching, as well as hearing them. And reading about them reinforces the strength of such learning even further. There are many good publications on alcoholism, and some not so good. Many of us have also profited by reading in other fields. But AA neither endorses nor opposes anybody else's publications. We simply offer our own. Even drinkers who have never before been much for reading spend hours poring over AA material. It is undoubtedly the best way to grasp a broad, first-hand consensus of all AA wisdom, instead of just the hearsay of one time and place. There are 8 AA books and 3 booklets in a format similar to this one. Alcoholics Anonymous, the book. This is the basic textbook of AA experience. AA, as we know, it is the outgrowth of this book, which was originally prepared by 100 or so alcoholics who had learned to stay sober by helping each other. After a few years of sobriety, they recorded what they had done and gave the account this title. Our fellowship then began to be called by the name Alcoholics Anonymous. In this volume, the original AA experience is spelled out by those who did it first, then wrote about it. It is the primary source book of all basic AA thought for all of us, whether we read and reread it often or seldom. Most members get a copy as soon after coming to AA as they can, so they may take the fundamental AA ideas directly from the source, not hear of them second or third hand. Members often refer to Alcoholics Anonymous as the Big Book, but not to compare it with any sacred text. Its first printing, in 1939, was on very thick paper, so it came out surprisingly fat and was laughingly dubbed the Big Book. The first 11 basic chapters were written by Bill W., the co-founder of AA. It also contains many AA members' own stories, as written by themselves, and several appendices of additional matter. Simply reading the book was enough to sober up some people in AA's early days, when there were only a few AA groups in the world. It still works that way for some problem drinkers in isolated parts of the world, not so much with Zoom now, or for those who live on seagoing vessels. Regular readers of the book say that repeated readings reveal many deeper meanings that cannot be grasped at the first hurried glance or read. And the next book is The 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. AA fundamentals are discussed at even greater depth in this book, also written by Bill W. It is sometimes nicknamed the 12 and 12. Members who want to study the AA program of recovery seriously use it as a text in conjunction with the Big Book, and I highly recommend that. Written 13 years after Alcoholics Anonymous, this smaller volume explains principles of AA behavior, both individual and group. The 12 steps, guides to individual growth, had been discussed more briefly in the Big Book. The group principles, the 12 traditions, became crystallized through trial and error after the first book was published. They characterize the movement and make it unique, quite unlike other societies. Next book is called Alcoholics Anonymous Comes of Age. This brief history tells how the fellowship started and how it grew for its first 20 years. It recounts the tale of how a small group of courageous, once hopeless former drunkards, with all the odds against them, finally became securely established as a worldwide movement of acknowledged effectiveness. And then there's the book As Bill Sees It. A reader of Bill W.'s pithiest paragraphs from his voluminous personal correspondence as well as other writings. A subject index covers topics of interest to any problem drinker. It's a really good resource material. Another book is Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers. This is the life story of AA's co-founder, and it's interwoven with recollections of early AA in the Midwest, mostly in pioneer members' own words. Next book is Pass It On. This is the biography of AA's co-founder, subtitled The Story of Bill Wilson and How the AA Message Reached the World. It also traces the development of the fellowship, and 39 photographs are included from AA's history. Another book is Experience, Strength, and Hope. This is 56 retired stories from the first 3 editions of the Big Book. So with each publication of the Big Book, the personal stories at the back change, apart from those of the original founders that remain the same. The next book is Daily Reflections, a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. And this is the book that you often read from at meetings. AAs reflect on favorite quotations from AA literature. There's a reading in there for each day of the year. The next book is called Came to Believe. It's subtitled The Spiritual Adventure of AA as Experienced by Individual Members. This is a collection of 75 members' versions of what a power greater than ourselves is, what their HP is. They range from orthodox religious interpretations through humanistic and agnostic views. Next is AA in Prison, A Message of Hope. This is a collection of 26 stories, some previously printed in the AA's Grapevine, sharing the experience of men and women who found AA while in prison. And the Grapevine is the official magazine or publication of AA stories. The next is pamphlets. Many pamphlets and flyers on various aspects of AA, some of them addressed to special interest groups, are also published by AA World Services, Inc. They have all been carefully prepared under close supervision by AA representatives from all over the US and Canada, so that they represent the broadest possible consensus of AA thinking. It is impossible to understand all the workings of AA unless one is well acquainted with all these publications. And there's a complete listing of those publications on page 92 of the publication I'm reading from, Living Sober. In addition, the AA General Service produces a quarterly newsletter, Box 459, and several other bulletins, as well as a report on the annual General Service Conference of AA. Many AA members start and end each day with a quiet moment in which they read a passage of some AA literature. Poring over AA books and pamphlets represents having a meeting in print for many members, and the range of AA information and inspiration summed up in them cannot be found anywhere else. Any AA reading starts a trail of AA thinking which leads away from a drink. So many AAs always carry with them some piece of AA literature, not just because reading it can help ward off the kind of thinking that leads to drinking, but also because it can afford refreshment and entertainment for the mind at odd moments. AA literature not available at an AA meeting can be ordered directly by writing to Box 459, that's why that publication was called that, Grand Central Station, New York, New York, 10163. You may fax your order to 212-870-3137 or call 212-870-3400 or email orders@aa.org. Go to aa.org on the internet and you will be linked. The next is the AA Grapevine. Every month, a fresh collection of AA thought and humor appears in the print magazine, while new stories are added weekly to aagrapevine.org. Almost all of the articles, graphics, and cartoons are submitted by members of AA. Their contributions are not paid. Whether in print, online, or in audio, Grapevine contains inspiring stories of experience, strength, and hope, illustrations, news about AA, and letters from AA members around the globe. Individual and bulk subscriptions may be ordered online at aagrapevine.org or by writing to Grapevine, P.O. Box 16867, North Hollywood, California, 91615-6867. AA Grapevine also publishes La Vina, a bi-monthly Spanish-language magazine. For ordering information, go to aagrapevine.org Espanol or write to La Vina, P.O. Box 15635, North Hollywood, California, 91615, 5635. And La Vina is spelled L-A and then V-I-N-A. And that is Chapter 28 of Living Sober. Thank you for listening. This has been Auntie Jill.